meeting of Port Clinton City Council in the Linda Hartleb Chambers of Port Clinton City Hall. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silent reflection for those protecting us over our country.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Beth Gilman, present. Margaret Phillips, present. Richard Morgan,
I am here.
Davey Robinson,
Excused.
Pat Hovis, here. Jerry Trolley,
Here.
Kathy King.
Excused. Council, you approve this to receive the July 22, 2025 regular meeting minutes. Do I have a motion to accept the minutes?
Madam President, I move to accept the notes from July 27th.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Shore. Any discussion? Okay, a motion by Ms. Phillips, second by Mr. Trolley to accept the July 22, 2025 regular meeting minutes. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed the same sign. Motion carries. The minutes hereby accepted. The chair notes the certification has been made regarding compliance with the rules and notifications of this meeting. We have no guest presentation. We will have to public comment, and reminder, just public comment is five limited of the person for 5 minutes. You can stand in your seat or at the podium. No? Oh, okay. Executive officers reports. Council tonight, we have our first reading on ordinance 23-25. That will be assigned. That is assigned to the Finance Committee, and will go for 3 reads. Also, we did receive the letter from the zoning, which is under correspondence. The meeting will be set for September 23rd, 2025 at 5:30 p.m. here in Council Chambers prior to that council meeting. And the clerk would post that and let the zoning inspector know that's where we're having it. And that is all that I have this evening. Mayor Snyder?
Thank you, Madam President. Good evening, members of council. Hope everyone is doing well. First and foremost, happy belated birthday, President Sardi.
Thank you.
I won't ask how old. Council and members in attendance tonight and those watching on the internet, this week is brush pickup. They're a little behind in the time due to the heat. They're moving a little slower. Equipment issues and labor manpower issues. They're just down a couple folks. Moving west to east, they have stopped at Fulton. Moving south to north, they have stopped at 7th Street at this moment in time. So if you're north of 7th or east of Fulton, there's still time to get your stuff out. This Sunday is PC Day at Fifth Third Field as the Mud Hens take on the Columbus Clippers. First pitch is at 2:05. It's all Port Clinton all day. The VFW will be there presenting the colors. Port Clinton High School Touch of Class will be singing the national anthem. School Superintendent Pat Adkins will be throwing out the first pitch. Local daycare is going to have the kids up in the upper deck singing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game." And John Hall, who is U.S. Army Vietnam era boots on the ground, will be represented as our hometown hero. Anyone is still able to get tickets by calling the Mud Hens ticket office at 419-725-4367. Again, 419-725-4367. This Sunday at 2:05 is the first pitch. Keeping in line with sports, September 5th is the annual Port Clinton Oak Harbor football game this year over in Oak Harbor, and I want to let everyone know that Mayor Babcock of the Village of Oak Harbor and I have renewed our annual wager. The mayor from the non-winning team will buy pizzas for the seniors of the other team. Hopefully, Mayor Babcock will be coming east on 163. He needs to come east, let's put it that way. Earlier today, Mrs. Ostheimer, Mr. Colston, and I attended an event at Magruder Hospital. They were showing off their specialty clinics review. It was very, very informative, all the stuff that is offered through Magruder Hospital. Having a conversation with the CEO, it is amazing that a town of 6,000 has a hospital that provides the number of services that are offered to our citizens. So congratulations to Magruder Hospital. If you weren't aware, this Saturday there's a couple events taking place in town. The Lighthouse and Maritime Festival is in Waterworks Park from 10 a.m. until 4 p.m. And then along with that, at 3 p.m., the United Way of Ottawa County is having their incredible duck derby race in the Derby Pond. It's still not too late to register your ducks. Just simply Google Ottawa County United Way Duck Race. You'll find the link to Eventbrite to order your ducks. For years, City of Port Clinton has had a part-time zoning inspector. Todd Bickley is the current zoning inspector. His office hours were Monday and Thursday. His life has changed. They have flipped to Tuesday and Thursday. So Mr. Bickley is now in City Hall on Tuesdays and Thursdays for all of your zoning issues. Again, just a reminder, we were talking about this before the council meeting. August 20th is the start of school. It's a week from tomorrow. So just be mindful of the buses on the roads, kids walking, riding bikes, scooters, and of course, the 20 mile per hour speed limits throughout town. With that, Madam President, that concludes my report for this evening, unless anyone has any questions.
Yeah, I have one.
Yeah.
You left out the most important event,
What's that?
Friday night at Riverfront Live. The Morgans are playing. Instead of the big band, it's just Gina and I. So,
There you go.
yeah, so.
How could I forget?
Most important, well, we were a sub for someone who was coming in, so we haven't played since April, so we've practiced. We'll be okay.
Very good.
Does anybody else have a question for the mayor? Okay. Mr. Velo, auditor's report?
There's some seats in front if you like.
Thank you, Madam President. Council, good to be with you this evening, and happy August. The financial report to council for July of 2025, that was provided for you on August 5th for review. Just a couple items I'll highlight here and happy to answer any questions. Income tax collection is just over $2.4 million, which is favorable year to date. That is approximately $300,000 ahead of last July, which I think we spoke about maybe 2 meetings ago. The Fire Fund, Fund 227, is particularly weak due to a couple things, but particularly the second half tax payments from the county, which came in after month end. It's there now. Street funds, fund number 248 on the chart, and it's also running a bit behind. Ordinance 2325, the President's already mentioned, addresses both items, among other things. Also wanted to mention the SID, the Special Improvement District. $38,262 has been collected by Ottawa County and deposited with the city to be passed through to the new SID board to provide new services in the downtown covered area. I was told yesterday the board is officially stood up or established, and the only outstanding item is a bank account. So once we have that, the city will, once the board has that, the city will cut a check and pass through those funds so that they can get to work in further enhancing city services benefiting the downtown. Ordinance 2325, that further amends appropriations for fiscal year ending December 31st, 2025, including providing new funds for the operations of the street department and fire department and for a few other purposes. It makes available additional income tax dollars to the street fund and the fire fund. So $150,000 to the street, $75,000 to the fire department. Ordinance also includes the $1 million in building acquisition and renovation notes issued earlier this month for the building located at 201 Madison Street, the new City Hall, which we should be closing later this month. A couple long-lasting items. I'm happy to provide an update on previous grant awards. The U.S. Forest Service Urban and Community Forestry IRA grant that was funded by the Inflation Reduction Act. Feels like a long time ago, doesn't it, Mr. Trolley? It was announced in September of 2023, the result of a $1 billion grant competition. There were 842 projects submitted, totaling more than $6.4 billion in requests. $959,000 was awarded to the City of Port Clinton. The cost share is zero. I remind everyone the cost share is zero, meaning no local match is required or expected. Parentheses, free money, which is great. The sub-award grant agreement was then executed with the pass-through partner working with Forest Service. It's called American Forest, a DC-based organization. That was August 22nd of last year, almost a year ago. The project period runs from August 22nd, 2024 through April 30th, 2028. However, as you all know, and I'm happy to remind you, on January 27th of this year, the White House issued a memo pausing all agency grant, loan, and other financial assistance programs. We received a formal suspension notice, temporary suspension notice from American Forest that was on February 12th, which was then lifted March 7th. The city has received to date $168,861 and some cents in reimbursement, covering 100% of the grant cost projects to date. And that funded what we call the risk mitigation phase or tree triage phase, to inventory and remove or otherwise address hazardous trees that pose an immediate threat to the public. Hopefully, in the future, we'll be able to begin a mature tree maintenance phase, including pruning about 20% of the city's tree population in designated districts this year and into next year, and then new plantings after that, hopefully planting 5% of available sites as funding allows. So in the end, as of today, there's $772,138 remaining in grant award funds. And the city needs to determine how best to proceed to mitigate risk of, say, future funding freezes or potential grant termination. That hasn't happened. It has happened to some entities, so we'll remain cautious and optimistic, but hopefully at the next meeting we'll be able to provide an update on what comes next on those free funds that we worked hard to get. The U.S. Department of Transportation Active Transportation Infrastructure Improvement Program, or ATIP, because everything has an acronym, that was funded by the infrastructure law. That was announced on January 7th of this year, $100,000 to the city for planning costs to connect the city to the Sandusky Bay Pathway via the Old Bay Bridge. The Portland project was the only Ohio project to be funded, which is nice. Project partners committed cost share equal to $45,000, and that's from the Greater Sandusky Partnership over in Erie County. The amount of $15,000. The Park District of Ottawa County, $10,000. And council, you all approved $20,000 from the city of Portland. As we go forward, the city's commitment of $20,000, I expect to be the last dollars in the door if needed at all. So we're awaiting a grant agreement instructions from the Federal Highway Administration. There's an office in Columbus which just has not gotten guidance from Washington. So there's a significant delay, but we remain hopeful for this planning project. Meanwhile, ODOT recommended to the project partners applications to its pedestrian bike special solicitation earlier this spring. Application was made for the exact same project, same amount of funds, and those results are expected in early October. So that ideally would be the plan B if needed, or maybe A plus B happens. That would be great too. ODNR issued to the city through the NatureWorks grant program $30,583. That was announced in early January of this year. That was the total Ottawa County allocation, which means all the dollars that ODNR could have made available to entities in Ottawa County went to the city of Port Clinton to fund the construction of the splash pad, the Waterworks Park. And that complements nicely the Park District of Ottawa County grant award of $45,000 announced in February, which you all approved and agreed to. And construction on the splash pad at Waterworks Park is expected to begin this fall. Last item, the fire and EMS ballot measure, the ballot question resulting from council passing at the last meeting. Resolution 25-5 is being taken up by the Board of Elections on Thursday, August 14th, this week. The question would ask voters, should income tax rate increase by 0.4% to 1.9% from the current 1.5%, whereby the increase of 0.4% is solely dedicated to fund the operation and capital expenditures of the Port Clinton Fire Department. If it's approved, it would be on the general election ballot to be held on November 4th. And if it passes, it would be expected to provide over $900,000 per year for improved fire and EMS services for the long term in the community. So thank you, council, for passing the resolution. And that's my report for this evening. I'm happy to address any questions.
Does anyone on council have any questions?
I have one, which I should probably know the answer to.
I know you're playing on Friday down
Yeah. And we're good, too. In ordinance 23-25, you're transferring to the fire fund the street. Is that from the general fund to these funds? Is that what that is? Essentially,
Yes.
it's from the general fund.
Yes.
Okay, that's all I want to know. And yes, we are playing on Friday.
Brought on in advance.
I don't think people.
Yes, ma'am.
a clue as to how much paperwork is involved just to ask for a grant that's small. You just read off a whole bunch that we've done off here through this group. And I think all of your group should be commended, because I know you didn't do it all yourself, but there were people who helped you. This really helps the city stay in the black. And I appreciate that very much. And I don't think people ever notice that really.
Yeah, thank you, and it helps us do things we otherwise wouldn't be able to fund, so opportunistic certainly, but that doesn't mean these projects aren't strategic. I think being a tree city means being more than paying for the plaque, right? It's actually doing things, so this is the single largest grant award dedicated solely to trees, almost $1 million, free, we don't have to pay anything back, it's not a loan. So I hope we're able to implement it, all of it, and leave none of it on the table when the time comes. And the Pathway Project, we've talked about it before. I think that's a great recreational amenity that would complement what we have here, connecting us to the success in Dusky and Erie counties scene. That's great. And I think I mentioned before, and council agreed, we're happy to contribute a meaningful amount, but a small amount in the grand scheme of things to see it planned and make sure that we're at the table so that it works. In the end, construction would not fall to us, that would fall to other parties, which I'm happy to leave to them, including ODOT, ODNR, or anybody else who wants to pitch in. I think after this phase, assuming the project goes forward and it's designed and planned appropriately, I think we'll be done and hopefully benefit from it without further financial commitment in the future. Thank you for the question.
Thank you. Treasurer's report.
Madam President, our bed tax collected year-to-date so far is $160,432, and our dock tax collected is $21,281.25. Our rental registrations are $27,700.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone on council have a question for the treasurer? Okay, no auditor, no safety service, no city staff. We'll move on to committee reports. Finance, Mrs. Elvis.
Nothing tonight, Madam President.
Thank you. Environment and Public Works, Mr. Trolley.
Yeah, a reminder, we'll be having our committee meeting before the next council meeting.
Safety Services, Ms. Phillips.
No comment here, thank you.
Okay. Economic and Community Development.
Nothing tonight, Madam President.
Okay, thank you. Move on to correspondence. Under correspondence this evening, we have June 25, 2025 Tax Incentive Review Board meeting, Buckeye 76 CRA provided by Mark Mesa. June 25, 2025 Tax Incentive Review Board meeting, RAR Hospitality, CRA provided by Mr. Mesa. Opposition to alcohol consumption on commercial motorcycle provided by Chief Dave Scott. July 10, 2025 Planning Commission meeting minutes. April 22, 2025 Economic and Community Development Committee meeting minutes. July 22nd, 2025 Economic and Community Development Committee meeting minutes. Review proposed amendment to the City of Port Clinton zoning ordinance, Chapter 1125 letter provided by the City Council Planning Commission / Board of Zoning Appeals. July 2025 financial report provided by Gabe BMO. Does council wish to take any action as to the correspondences this evening?
Madam President,
Yes.
I move to accept the review proposed amendment to the City of Port Clinton zoning ordinance, Chapter 1125 letter provided by the City of Port Clinton Planning Commission, Board of Zoning Appeals.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Tully. Any discussion? And this is, as I explained, what I set the meeting for on September 23rd at 5:30. It would relate to that. Seeing no further discussion, I have a motion by Mrs. Gilman, seconded by Mr. Tully, to accept the letter provided to the city by Planning Commission and Board of Zoning Appeals. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Richard Morgan.
Yes.
Margaret Phillips.
Yes.
Pat Hovis.
Yes.
Jerry Trolley.
Yes.
Beth Gilman.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries by a vote of 5-0. The letter is hereby accepted. Does council wish to take any further action?
Madam President, I move we accept the July 2025 financial report provided by Gabe BMO.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Thank
Second.
you, Ms. Phillips. Any discussion? Okay, I have a motion by Mrs. Gilman, seconded by Ms. Phillips to accept the July 2025 financial report provided by Mr. Beal. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Thank you, motion carries. Does council wish to take any further action as to the correspondence?
Madam President,
Yes.
I move we accept the correspondence as presented.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Choi. Any discussion? Okay, I have a motion by Mrs. Gilman, second by Mr. Choi to accept the correspondence as stated. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Thank you. The correspondence hereby accepted. We'll move on to readings of ordinances and resolutions. We have no third reading and no second reading. We'll move on to first reading. Will the clerk please read by title and summary only ordinance 23-25.
Ordinance number 23-25, an ordinance amending ordinance number 14-25 as amended of the city of Port Clinton.
Thank you. Does council wish to take any action as to ordinance 23-25? Seeing none, ordinance 23-25 will be moved to a second reading on August 26, 2025. Moving on to business from the floor. Mr. Morgan.
I have nothing.
Thank you. Ms. Phillips.
Thanks. We are having a meeting after this one, open meeting.
Of safety services. Ms. Sobis.
Nothing tonight, Madam President.
Mr. Trolley.
Just one for Mr. Bealow. That grant,
Yes, sir.
hypothetically, could we hire a full-time or part-time arborist with that grant?
Yes,
Is that
sir.
Capable? Okay, thank you, sir. That's all.
Thank you. Mrs. Gilman.
Nothing tonight, Madam President.
Thank you. Seeing no further business, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Madam President, I move this August body adjourn.
Thank you. Do I have a second? A second. Thank you, Mrs. Hovis. I have a motion by Ms. Phillips, a second by Ms. Hovis to adjourn. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Thank you. We're adjourned.